drove up and thought, holy mackerel, there's a lot of people here tonight, but most of them are at the ball game. But anyway, I'm glad you all found parking spots. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And Jack, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We're dedicating the meeting tonight to the CAC and their efforts for Earth Day and for the town cleanup. There is information in the newsletter today about the Earth Day, both the cleanup and the activities that the rec is having for kids. I'm not sure if all of the information was in that posting or if there's more to come.
I tried to click on it, I didn't do it. So all it said, use a green thing?
No, all the information was actually just in their poster, I think. Anyway, so thank you, CAC, for all the hard work that you do. Rita, you're not driving the highway truck?
No, because I can't participate this year. Jay Russell is going to have his own truck.
Jay's going to have a truck, because Ben Rathjen had volunteered to drive the truck.
Thank you, but no, Lions are good for cleanup.
Yeah, this one.
I know it has the details on it. That's why I was trying to just give you.
Yeah, the details are further down.
Just right there. It's from 7 to 3.
And there's free plastic bags. Why don't you read the whole thing?
Sure. So there are free plastic bags, refreshments, and safety guidelines will be available that morning at Roosters. Please bring filled bags to the Stanford transfer station from 7 to 3. They'll take the bags for free. Bring gloves and any tools you may want to use to collect trash. Wear bright colored clothing.
And also, I think we do have a truck driving around picking up bags. Rita usually does it, but this year she's otherwise engaged. And Ben, we may recruit you for more truck duty. Okay, Rita, roll call.
Wendy Burton.
Here.
Ann Arendt.
Here.
Margaret Fallon.
Here.
Nathan Burcham.
Here.
Troy Conahan.
Here.
Town board liaison reports. Corey?
So I recently had the planning board meeting, in which case there wasn't a whole lot to discuss, but we did have an extension on, somebody requested an extension for something they didn't get quite in time. It was an addendum to, I believe, like an apartment they were trying to do above their barn. And everything else was pretty much on hold for the rest of the meeting. There wasn't a whole lot happening on that.
Thank you. Ann?
Fire district meeting. New radios are installed in some of the trucks in the UTV. They did a UTV class, and there were 15 people from Stanford, 3 from Milan, and they're also going to do additional training for the trailering of the UTV. No movement on the firefighter grant. Town hired Brad Pinsky to discuss the ambulance district. The commissioners were trying to set up a time to Zoom with him, and they're trying to determine who's in charge if the district's given to the town. Let's see, the live burn is passed. That was March 25th that they did. And they had a hose test where they lost 700 feet of hose, so that will be replaced. And they motioned to decommission the rest of the campus hose as well as a few other items.
The fire district is actually as a separate, what am I trying to say? As a separate district is absolutely happening with Brad Pinsky. Mm-hmm. And next month, I'm going to come with you because they want to talk about who's doing what to whom.
Right, and that was sort of where they were. They were going to have a Zoom to try and, they were still sort of figuring it out amongst, this was almost a month ago that we had this conversation.
Okay, so I'll see you at the 18th. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Nathan?
Sure. I met with the Recreation Committee earlier this week. A bunch of the items that we spoke about are on the agenda for tonight, so around the picnic tables and the sheds. There is also a little bit of an exploratory effort going into the baseball fencing. It needs to be repaired in a couple of spots, but they just don't know to the extent of, is it repairable, is it replaceable? So they're looking into that. They have some upcoming events, a lot of event planning for the summer, but the first two that are worth noting is there's an Earth Day event, which is the 22nd. That would be from 11 to 12:30 to Rec. They're going to do a nature-oriented scavenger hunt, and then there'll also be a little garden activity for the little ones. So that will be happening. And then in early May, they're going to do a Mother's Day type of event. It's just going to be kind of like, they're looking at like a tiny tea party event to have. Yes, the Mommy and Me Tea Party is what they're calling it. So they're working on that. And then they've got some good summer activities that are both family and child-oriented. So there's some adult, like, storybook walks and a variety of other things that they're looking at. So, and then I believe this weekend is the first opening day for the Rec.
Oh,
Isn't it?
For baseball?
No. For the park itself. I think it's coming up.
no,
One of the
not,
weekends.
not this one.
End of June.
What do you mean by?
There's something else that's opening up this week.
The community garden is
That's what it
opening
is.
up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I knew something's opening there. That was the other thing. Thank
Community
you.
garden.
And that's it. Everything else is, we're going to cover in discussion on the agenda
Great.
tonight.
Yes, the CAC met on the 29th, and there's a lot of overlap that's already been said. So they were talking about the Earth Day cleanup on the 22nd. And the best way to get updates is on the Town of Stanford CAC Instagram. They post pretty frequently about different environmental events. So as you said, there'll be up roosters, anyone who wants to participate. They just ask that you check in because they really like to have the map of the town and keep track of what roads have been done so people aren't, wasting their time, repeating the same areas. The next day after Earth Day, so that would be April 23rd, there's also going to be an event the CAC is putting on with the Rec. And it's called like a walk with the pros, but it's through the recreation department, through the Rec, like looking at the different wildlife, looking at the different trees, and talking sort of about the natural history of the area. And then also some different events with the community garden being planned as well. So that's the CAC, very busy.
Go CAC. I'm going to hold off on my report because we have guests tonight who are here already, and it's a hot room, and I'd like to get them to speak. I'm going to hold off. Rita, can we do privilege of the floor just after the veterans presentation? Okay, then I would like to just jump a little bit ahead and invite Alyssa Karen and Anthony Kavoris and Victor, who are all here from Mental Health America, the Dutchess County Veterans Programs. Thank you. I knew there was a word that was stuck. So, please.
Hello, everybody. Hi. So, we serve all of Dutchess County. So, we like to try to get.
Oh, if you could speak into the microphone. Sorry.
How's that? Is that better? Okay. So we serve all of Dutchess County. Our new building right now is based out of Pleasant Valley. Actually, Jack here came and visited, so he took a little tour. The building actually got donated to us, and we're really happy with it because we've done amazing stuff with it. The MHA of Dutchess Veteran Programs really has like 4 main things that we do. One is Vet to Vet, which is a veteran peer mentoring program. The second one is the HERO program, which is a housing program for homeless vets or veterans that could be facing homelessness. We have a Vet TAP program, which is a veteran employment program. And then we recently got the Staff Sergeant Fox grant, which is Veteran Suicide Prevention Program. So, and then we mix a lot of other things in there, like we have a food pantry, we have a, not sure what to call it yet. I was thinking of VX, because we used to get all our stuff from the VX or post exchange, either one. So I was thinking VX, veteran exchange, or veteran supply. So I don't know. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with. But basically, we have a bunch of clothes, dishes, toiletries, blankets, socks, anything that they need, and they can come in. Any veteran that needs anything can come in and get it. But for the lower income veterans, we're actually going to give them a voucher every month, so they can come in and like they're shopping, you know. So, and it's the same thing with our food pantry. It's always free. But we have a bunch of other events that we do all year long. We have an equine program. Alyssa does a lot of art therapy and yoga and meditation, that kind of thing. And we do bowling events, shooting events, fishing events, just soup to nuts. So that's what we do. We left our brochures. I'm going to let Alyssa talk about her Fox program. And Victor actually works half the time with the Fox program, half the time with the employment program. So he could talk a little bit about that. All right?
I will be super quick, but I love my program, so I want to take a couple minutes just to introduce everyone to it. It is the Staff Sergeant Fox Suicide Prevention Grant Program. The grant is a VA-funded grant designed for community-based suicide prevention. So we are non-clinical. We do a set of psychosocial screenings on everyone who enters into the program. That data is anonymous and goes to the VA anonymous. So we can enroll both veterans and active duty soldiers, and there is no data mining of names and anything like that for anyone. And then within our program, aside from helping get veterans connected to the VA and resources for suicide prevention, we do art therapy, music therapy, yoga, equine therapy, mindfulness, meditation, and breath work.
Wow.
So, and we do them, right now we do it out of our Pleasant Valley office, and we also cover Orange County, so we are in New Windsor as well. If you know anyone in Dutchess or Orange interested. And if there's ever a time where we have a group of veterans up here interested, we can come up here and hold our classes up here too, so.
Also, if they can't go into the Fox program, they can still go into the Vet to Vet program and still enjoy the benefits of those same things, because we share the clients, and like we do share yoga, and it's half of hers and half of the Vet to Vets, and so it's fine. We do groups every other Wednesday, and then we have on top of that a female veteran group that meets once a month, and we're going to start a family group really soon, so family members can join their veterans and stuff. You want to talk about the vet tap?
As long as you can hear me. I have a big voice. I have two responsibilities. I work with Alyssa. She is the program manager. And Staff Sergeant Fox, there are only 80 programs in the United States, and we are lucky to be one of them. It's a very involved program. My responsibility is outreach. So the first tier is going out to VFWs and American Legions, but I will be knocking on everyone's door, faith-based groups, so they know what Staff Sergeant Fox is and how to gain access to it. So the other responsibilities, I work in VET-TAP, so I work with my partner, and we try to get jobs for veterans. And then not only jobs, we work with resumes, we work with certifications, so if you qualify and you're a veteran, and you come in and you want to get a job, you want to be a truck driver, we'll help you get your CDL. And there are grants to help fund that. So we do a little bit of everything, and we go above and beyond.
So I forgot, tell them about the Veterans Court.
About your third time.
Last, we had to do this. So Alyssa and I have been chosen to be on it's a treatment court, which is, instead of incarceration for veterans, there is a civilian one where you have addiction, or whether it's alcohol or drugs. Instead of going to jail, you do this program. It's usually a year long, and if you complete it, you don't get incarcerated. But there still may be charges, but it's really minor. We do the veterans. So thankfully, there's only a handful right now. And We just came back from a training in Saratoga, and we met other people from New York City that are like us. We are counselors. We work with the court. We are not part of the court. So we're going to help you, but we're not going to tell you what to do. We're there for advice. We met a bunch of people from Buffalo, and they must have 20 or 30 counselors like us. So I asked them, how long have you been doing? A couple of years. How many veterans have gone through your program? Remember? 600. 600. So we work out of 2 courts. Honorable Jessica Siegel is the felony court in Poughkeepsie, and then Judge Johnson is the misdemeanor court in Beacon. So that keeps us a little busy. Thank God it's not a lot.
I keep remembering stuff. Okay. So a few other things that we do CIT training with the local police departments, so that if they have a veteran that's in crisis and they don't want anything to go wrong, a lot of times they'll call us and we'll respond to the scene and help talk the veteran out, or peacefully and stuff like that. That's some of the stuff we do. I wanted to mention the equine. We do 2 different places. 13 Hands at a Clinton, which is
That's down the road.
which is, anybody has gone there, it's like an amazing place. And
Victory
Hill for
in
the
Port
orange
Charlotte.
place. So really great programs. And if you ever get a chance, if you go on our website, you could look us up. You go to MHA Dutchess and then go to the veterans side, and there's a couple of films actually of what we did with 13 Hands. And one's kind of emotional, but if you get through it, it's really cool video. And I encourage, if you have any veterans at all that you think might be able to use any of our services, which even the VSO is in our building too. So even if someone's trying to put in for their disability benefits from the VA, it's in the same building that we're in, so we would just walk them right over to there. Sometimes they walk people over to ours. So
Where exactly is your building in Pleasant Valley?
1335 Route 44 in Pleasant Valley.
Okay.
So it's right on the main,
The main, yeah.
the main road.
It's a big blue building now. It used to be
Used to be a big green building, but
Okay.
it's great now, and it's blue, and we're having our ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
Nice.
And by the end of the year, we're going to have a lounge in one of the basements, which will have like lounge chairs, TV, exercise equipment, maybe a gaming system, some computers. So veterans could just go and just have a safe place to relax and stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on. So it's encourage everybody to look us up, and definitely take our brochures. I'll leave a few of my cards up there too, if anybody, yes.
What time is it? Ribbon cutting's tomorrow?
No,
No,
21st.
first,
11
21st.
o'clock.
Okay.
Ribbon cutting is from 12 to 1, but the open house, so I don't recommend coming to the ribbon cutting because that's all like the officials and stuff like that. But the open house will be from 1 to, we're thinking 3 or 4. We'll leave it open until people are tired of looking around. you know.
And that's on the county side, so if you look at what's happening in Dutchess County, last but not least, we have to give someone credit, because he was the spearhead, Jack. He introduced us, not only introduced us, he supports us, and the club, what's the name of your club?
Urban Dutchess Sportsman.
I know. So Anthony and I have already been out on one event. This weekend, there is a trout fishing. The place is amazing. 300-plus acres of heaven. And we really appreciate, plus they make their own maple syrup. So we appreciated you not only inviting us out there, but your continued support. So they are very veteran supportive. So, and we thank you again publicly.
Thank you.
Wait. I think there may be some questions.
Yes,
I
please, if
personally
anybody has
have,
questions.
2.
Sure.
There was a time last year when I was very concerned about a Stanford veteran who I was afraid was suicidal. And could you clarify, I ended up making an awful lot of phone calls and finally got looped in and but what's the best place to call? Is it this 988 press 1?
Well, so that's an emergency number.
If they're in an immediate crisis, yes. 988, press 1 for veteran. You'll get connected to a representative who can, get them connected to the VA, which is great.
Yeah.
If you're not in an immediate crisis, or
But they're
still
they're
struggling.
ideating, they've said stuff, they're isolating, you could tell that there's some issues, you can give us a call, either one of our programs, or we'll connect on it together anyway, but her program will give them a screener right away.
Is it a 24/7 phone?
So we all have phones that we basically have it forwarded to our phone, so yeah, we pretty much
Yeah,
answer
if you call at
24/7.
2 in the morning, if I hear my phone ring, I will answer my phone,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
The
That's-
988, just to add, locally, Dutchess County, it may be rerouted through Dutchess County Mental Health or Behavioral Health. So someone will get that information. If you press 1, that goes to, usually to Washington or wherever there are supposed to be units, but they work from home 24/7. So if
Okay.
you dial that number, it's going to come somewhere.
But if you feel like you have a little bit of time that someone could intervene, then by all means, give us a call. That's what we do.
My other question is, you are having an event here in Stanford, June 3rd?
I'll go
Will
over that.
you talk about that? Okay, terrific. All right, well, I'm sorry to have monopolized questions.
Anybody else? I'm sorry.
I have a question for
Okay.
Melissa. You mentioned that you would come locally if there were a group. Is there a group minimum that you need in order to bring okay.
No, we try to be as accommodating as possible, and we know that veterans are more comfortable in their own environments. So we are happy to come out for small groups or big groups.
Yes.
I work with the homebound population. Is there any services for veterans that are homebound?
That's tough because the
Right.
VA says there are. So there's a way you can connect to them, but without me seeing what their record is, because
Yeah.
the VA is a little bit tough on that, right? Right now, to be qualified for VA medical services, you have to have at least 2 years active duty, and you have to have at least a general under honorable, right? Yeah. General under honorable, and if you don't have any VA rated disabilities, like service-connected disabilities, then you have to fall below a certain income. So, and a lot of people don't know that, but yeah, let's say you don't have any service-connected disabilities, and you were a veteran, you served like 20 years, but you don't have any disabilities, and you make a pretty decent income, well, you have a retirement, so automatically you're not going to qualify for the, so, and people don't know that. They think it's automatic, but it really is not. However, we do what we can in cases, like we'll go to someone's house to do an intake with them and things like that. Transportation is an issue always, and we're trying to do workarounds with that. We're trying to fit into the new Fox program, Uber, possibly,
Yep.
part of the portion goes to Uber to transport people and stuff. We have given people rides on emergency cases, but obviously it would take, like if we started doing that, that's all we would be doing, and then we wouldn't be able to do anything else. People would just call us all day long to go to the supermarket and, pick up their laundry. It would be like, that's all we would do. So.
Well, here we have the Northeast Community Service, the transportation, that would probably transport people there.
How far out do they go?
I believe the whole county.
The whole county, okay. Good to know.
Can you contact one of us with that information? Because if we have a veteran that lives in your community and the needs,
Yeah,
we're
there is
gonna
flyers
call
around.
you.
I put them all.
Yeah, they're up there.
But there's also flyers regarding the Northeast transportation system.
Okay, if you can get it to us electronically, because then you become a resource for us
And
in your own community.
we have worked it out with the loop to drop people off near our building, so we're on their route now, so. We're gonna see this.
I understood there was sometimes bed points and times lanes. How does that relate to what you're doing with the law?
So,
The clinic, it's a C-box.
yeah, it's a C-box.
It's just a VA, it's like, we have primary care and a couple of other little services. For specialized care, veterans would still have to go to Castle Point or, but we are not part of the VA, we are a nonprofit. We do work with the VA, so if you are having difficulty connecting with someone at the VA, like, please feel free to call us and we can help, make the connections that you need.
They call us quite frequently, actually, so that we can help them with that they're dealing with. But we also, in our new building, we made a deal with the VA to put a couple of telehealth offices in there. So shortly, there'll be 2 offices dedicated just to the VA telehealth. So they can go in and talk to their psychologist, their doctor, order prescriptions, that kind of stuff, right there in the office. So, and we have a representative from the VA that comes once a month, and he sits in the other office the whole day. And we're also working with Whole Health from the VA to maybe have them come up once or twice a month and do some stuff with us. So.
Anybody else? If we don't have the answers, we'll try to get them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really, what you're doing is awesome.
We try.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. And all of us that work there are veterans, so it is truly veterans helping veterans.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll go back now and open up the privilege of the floor. And so Jack, just, no, I'm going to,
Okay, sorry.
that's okay. Just state your name and your address for Rita.
My name is Jack Evans, and I live at 2248 Bull's Head Road. I serve on a committee in town that has been working with these fellas, MHA of Dutchess County, and that's Mental Health of America. We're working to support the Veterans Program Division, and we'll be holding a fundraiser for veterans here on June 3rd this year. The fundraiser will be held at the Rec Park from 11 to 3, rain or shine, and we will be honoring our veterans, offering resources for veterans, raising awareness of the MHA food pantry, the thrift store, and vet-to-vet resources available. We're working on getting music, and finger-type food will also be available. There will be a formal presentation to our local vets, and we will also be holding a raffle and a 50-50 with all proceeds going to MHA. All of our town veterans, as well as local and state officials, are invited, and local businesses will have a chance to offer items for the raffle, and again, with the proceeds to benefit this organization. Again, my committee is partnering with MHA of Dutchess County to organize this event in recognition and assistance to Stanford and other local veterans, and the event will be at the Rec Park Pavilion, June 3rd from 11 to 3. We appreciate help to spread the word, and we welcome all town board members and anyone hearing this message to attend and also be involved as much as possible. And anybody that has questions or wants to volunteer, contact us, leave your phone or email, and we'll get back to you ASAP, and that would be Stanford, New York, GOP@gmail.com. Thank you.
Jack, are you guys looking for donations to help put the event on, or are you just looking, what?
Well, we're looking for a little bit of everything. We're looking for actual cash donations if people want to do that. We're looking for clothing, foodstuffs. The clothing that they want in the thrift store, they want new stuff. It can be blankets, it can be food, It can be baby clothing, and because people have families, obviously, that are vets. So there's a wide variety of stuff, but it wants to be all either new or in good shape. And then we're going to have that 50-50 raffle. So what we're going to do is go to all the businesses that are local and some outside and ask for, donations, meals, etc. Whatever they're willing to put in will probably go in toward the raffle. So,
That's great. And if you get me as much of that information as you can, like what the specifics, I can put that in the newsletter, the next newsletter.
Okay, we'll do that.
Great.
Thank you.
What
Thanks,
is this?
Chuck.
Is that, what's talking?
People in the
inside.
parking lot.
Someone open the windows.
Yeah, I opened the windows because it's a furnace in here. Okay, so that was Jack. Does anybody else like to speak?
Kathy Zier, 158 Shelley Hill Road. Okay, we're switching gears to another topic. The VA is very interested in do home care with a lot of them, so that's my interest in that. What I want to talk about is the new sign on Gristmill Lane. Okay, I noticed that there was an additional sign regulating road traffic.
Kathy, apparently you need to talk into the mic more.
Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. Like that? Okay. Currently, I counted 14 road regulation signs on Gristmill Lane. Some of them are enforceable, which is 4. That are the speed limit signs and the bridge limit regulation signs. All the rest are unenforceable suggestions. I know this additional sign was put up based on a complaint on traffic and speeding, which is a local, completely town-wide issue. The town put up a sign saying local traffic only. I have concerns on this just based on the sign itself. Number one, according to New York State, that's not the correct use for a local traffic only sign. It is used in conjunction with construction or a emergency repair of a bridge or a washout of a road. It was not designed to be used alone. Secondly, it's not enforceable, so it's just an appeasement to a complaint to add another sign to that road, which is not very long to have 14 road signs to try to regulate traffic. It appears to me that the intent of this was to limit public access to the road to whatever local is. Local is not explained, and I'm not sure that you can legally restrict public access to town roads. My understanding is that to restrict traffic, it would have to be a private road or a shared driveway, for instance, and in that case, the town would not be maintaining the road, not doing snow plowing or repairs. And I think this also starts a very bad precedent where everybody in town can complain about road traffic and get signs put up. We are a town of signs. There are 11 signs in downtown Stanfordville regarding the crosswalk. We're becoming a town of signs, and my opinion, I think I'm not sure what a local is. I consider myself a local, and I really feel the sign should be removed. Thank you.
I think you should probably talk to Jim Myers since he was the vehicle.
I did speak to Jim, and he said it was at the direction of the town board.
Wasn't at our direction.
That's all I was told.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, then I will close the privilege of the floor, and I will make a motion to approve the agenda with an addition of, oh boy, under number 14, I'm going to put in 14A, which is the LED light bid resolution. And that's it.
Sorry, are you moving resolution 4A?
No, this is not, it's 4D. I'm making like 14A. I'm just sticking it here in the agenda.
The agenda item is 14A.
Got it,
The
okay.
resolution
Yep,
is D.
I got it. Thank you. So the A is
So can I make a motion to approve the agenda
With the addition.
with the addition?
All in favor?
Aye. The next person I would like to welcome up to speak is Julia Disco, who's going to give us a report on she has tirelessly been working on this, on Spark Park renovation project, and so I asked her to come and give us an update on what's happening.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Julia Dakota. I live on 89 Haight Hill Road. I've lived here since 2018. We're full-time residents. My son Peter's in the other room back there. We just got back from soccer practice, so sorry I was late. I am the PR and Communications and Marketing Committee Chair for the Stanfordville Recreation Campaign. And I say that because it's a loose term, because it's a very grassroots thing that we're doing, which is a bunch of community members who've gotten together at sort of the behest of everyone to undertake renovating and upgrading our recreation center as a whole. So it's a multi-year recreation campaign project which started last year openly with a survey out, and I should say actually October 2021, with a survey out to the community to basically say, hey guys, we want to upgrade the rec center. Do you live here? Do you like it? What do you want to do? And let's prioritize what we want to do. First and foremost on that survey, we got about 100 responses back, was the tennis courts upgrade and the basketball courts upgrade. We had also received a grant at that time, I think it was a grant from Dee Dee Barrett's office. Mm-hmm. And so what we did, and the way the grants work, is that the money has to be put up by the town, and then the grant is received, from what I understand. And I'm not the finance chair, I'm the marketing communications, but I'm just sort of giving you the logistics of how it works. So as a campaign committee, we basically said our first order of business is to upgrade the tennis courts. Second to that, what we saw in the prioritization was the playground and upgrading the playground area. So during the summer of last year, we fundraised and raised enough funds to upgrade the tennis courts. And those were completed in August of 2022. August of 2022. And a lot of people are using them. I was just there yesterday, and they're beautiful and flat and clean. This year, also what happened last year was there was a safety inspection report that was conducted by the town in May of 2022. It was published to the website. You guys can get copies of it here. And the safety inspection report basically outlined a couple of things with Spark Park. One, safety hazards. So what the safety inspection report did was it scored Spark Park on a number of criteria that pertain to safety. P1 all the way down to P7. I don't have my computer on me, but we scored significantly. I do have my computer and I can pull it open, but we scored significantly in terms of the number of P1 issues with the park, which are safety concerns, basically. And the P1 concerns can lead to death, death or dismemberment. And secondary to that, there was also called out in the inspection report that the park was not ADA compliant. The park is a beautiful park. My son plays in the park. He loves the park. But those two issues came out in the safety inspection report. So what we did as a committee was we, congruently with doing the tennis courts last year, we submitted a grant for Spark Park. And the way that that has to work is that you put together a whole package and you submit that to the state of New York, and the state of New York scores that application and sends it back. What we did for the plan that we submitted, because you have to submit a plan, is that the plan was done with basically no change to the footprint of Spark Park in terms of expanding it out, utilizing the space in a way that brought it up to safety standards and up to ADA standards. And at At that point, the state would fund a park restoration. The state would not fund a repair, because the state would not put any funds towards something that was not ADA compliant. It's just not something the state would do. In addition to that, what we found throughout that process was that there are no town funds allocated to the maintenance of that park. And so what we did as a committee was we said, the playground is very important to this community. It's something that was a community-led initiative 30 years ago, and I see a number of you in this room who were part of that initial build. It's a beautiful park. It's very central to our community, and we owe it to our next generation of children to let them enjoy it to the extent that our community has enjoyed it in the past. And so what we started was the Spark Park Playground Committee. This is an offshoot of the campaign committee. It's a group of volunteer community members, probably about now 15, I want to say. I keep getting inquiries on a regular basis, which is really fantastic. Members of the original Spark Park Committee, new members of the town, a lot of passion and excitement around this project to bring the community together, make it something that we're all very proud of, preserve the past, honor our past, honor the future, all of it. So we contracted as part of the campaign committee with a design agency called Play by Design. They actually include one of the co-founders of the original builders of Spark Park back in the 90s, Lee Aiken. He is a day-to-day liaison with us, and we have access to him. And we contracted with them on a playground upgrade scope of work. And what comes out of that scope of work is a project plan that outlines a community-led and driven process, democratic process, to come up with a design for the upgraded Spark Park. That process started in January, where we issued another survey to the community. That scope of work ends with a finalized design, 3D renders of the design. So all of the specs and a full estimate of what that upgraded park will look like. Materials, cost of labor, if we wanted to pay cost of labor. So you basically have a nice, perfect little package that you can send off to your grant. I should mention that when we applied for the grant last year, we scored high, but we're not high enough to receive the grant. What we had learned was that our application was very strong, but we were deficient on a few things, including the integrity of the design and the design process. And so what the state wants to see as part of this process is that it is a very community-led process, and sort of how did you get there? And so we think that this year we have a better chance than ever of receiving that grant based on the process that we are looking to undertake with the community. When we issued a survey back in February to our email list, community members sent it out to on Spark Park, we issued a number of things. We wanted to learn if people that were taking the survey were actually users of Spark Park, and I have the survey, I'm happy to send it, we can post it wherever. We had almost 300 responses. So we had 100 responses on the playground, on the rec center, 300 on the park. And we asked, do you live here? Do you have kids? When do you visit the park? How often do you come? What do you like about the park? What do you not like? Lots of qualitative questions or quantitative questions. And what we learned was that everyone loves the park. We were talking to the community. Everyone had kids. Everyone went all the time. Kids were local schools, Pine Plains, homeschool. I've learned so much about our community by doing this process. And people love the park and the design of the park. They like the traditional nature. They like the exploration that the children get to have. They love that it is a wonderland of imagination for the children. They love that we bring and honor past residents and community members in that park. They love a lot of things about it. What they don't love about the park were the same things that were called out in that safety inspection report, which were safety deficiencies, things that were in disrepair, as well as the fact that not everyone could use the park. And so there were references to children with disabilities or special needs that weren't able to use the park. And so we had a very broad response. And so utilizing that, plus an outreach with our local schools, Cold Spring and Seymour Smith, where we solicit for children's ideas on the park, so qualitative and quantitative, We are coming and culminating to our design day, which is on May 5th at Cold Spring School. So we've interacted and or worked out with the principal of Cold Spring School to host a design day reveal there. And that design day is going to be presentation to the community. Sorry, I don't know who I should be looking at. Presentation of the community, presentation of the design, discussion, feedback, with an eye on next steps in the project being mid-May or early June for a second round of a design, this time 3D render, to actually see, hey, this is what it's going to look like, and we can all sort of like peer around it and explore and comment again and talk about it again. And then the last meeting would be towards the end of June, most likely here or similar format, perhaps the library, we haven't figured that out yet, where we will have a final version of the park, where that is going to be what we want to submit with our grant application. We will submit that grant application at the end of July. We will hear back on that grant response by December. And what we are hoping to do is raise enough funds throughout the summer to cover the cost of materials in the fall so that we can buy the materials in the fall, plan our, let's call it workforce, volunteer workforce, community workforce, to help us put that park in the spring. Now, if we raise enough funds and we get the grant, we send those funds to the town pays for the materials. This is all in theory, again, I'm not part of the bidding process, right? But we submit the plan, here are the materials, the town bids out the project, they procure the materials, we pay the town with our campaign funds, the town gets reimbursed with the grant, and we all move away very happy at having built a brand new park for our entire community. So that's Spark Park.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
In the beginning, you mentioned safety, P1, and there were a couple, you actually mentioned the word decapitation, if I heard you right. So my question is, we're not going to get this park done for another several months, and maybe a year. So what was on that list on the safety format that should be addressed? Because this is a busy summer season. So there's obviously a couple of things that need work or shut down or change before we do end up with an issue like that. Is that something that's being addressed?
So that's not something that the campaign committee is addressing.
Yeah.
We're addressing the new build. That's something that I would defer to the town on a response to that.
Well, I'd like to present that to you, because there's obviously, the word decapitation is pretty big, and
It's got a lot of letters.
It's a powerful word.
It was dismemberment. It was dismemberment. Slightly different.
Living in order.
That actually sounds kind of nice.
Jack, I'll talk to Jim about, what we need to do is isolate those, like, extreme
does Jim have to
cases.
report it, so he knows what?
It's accessible here at the
Yeah,
town.
yeah,
So
so-
in theory,
And so because because the highway crew actually does those maintenance jobs, so.
Have you considered like asking the community contractors for like the ability to volunteer to fix those things to? I'm asking you because she said to defer to you for the repairs.
Well, that, I haven't considered anything.
No, I'm just thinking that
But-
if you said, you put out to the town, say, hey, we need this, this, and this fixed on the playground, and perhaps there's plenty of contractors in town that could perhaps fix those things, and either donate their time, materials, or whatever to do some of that stuff.
That's great.
Some were remediated for insurance purposes last year. And then some of the reason that this hasn't been revisited that much is because there was a thought that this grant for last year would come through. And so there wasn't a lot of planning for another year of it. So with that opening up and schools coming out soon, it probably is a good suggestion to resurface that conversation to see what we can do to remediate some of the other, not the dismemberment issues, because those have been addressed, but some of the other issues.
But you had a question, you raised your hand?
You said that people could volunteer for this?
Mhm.
Are there any age requirements or anything?
Nope. Any and all. Love social media, anyone who can do communications, email, anything. we're trying to get to our whole community, which is, as you can imagine, challenging, given the age distribution and the geographical distribution. So I think we've done a pretty good job, but there's still a lot of people that don't know about it, so.
On the playground safety report, there were 18 items that were picked. I went through it. Some of them are dismemberment, danger. Two of them regarding the steering wheels on the train and the bus, because it's not a solid wheel. A kid could get their head in there. Which I did check. Miracle supplied the original equipment, and they're still in business. They're up in Rensselaer, those wheels. So those are two of the instances. The other instance for danger was S-hooks that were loose or open. So I think a lot of this could be done by local contractors. Obviously, it was the wood splinters, things like that, and some spacing issues that could also be addressed with where the brackets on the roof, a kid can get their head in there and get dismembered or damaged. Would be a simple fix with a 2x4 bracket. You know, so there is some things that I think that can eliminate some of the dangers.
Well, I think as Nathan said, some of them have been addressed, and then we can speak to Jim, and I will tell Jim, I mean, I think that's a great idea, Ben, and if the crew doesn't have, I mean, if that's not what they're going to do, it would be great to have.
You know, the sounds of it, like one person who's semi-qualified could probably do them all in a day.
Right.
Great.
Just so that somebody doesn't get hurt in the meanwhile.
Okay. Thank you, Julia.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
We have a website, a social, you can reach out if you have questions. It's me on the other end. All right, I'm going to speak. On the other end.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Julia.
Thank you.
Okay, number 3 on new business. We had, when we accepted the bid for the barn raiser to raise a pole barn for the highway department, we had originally said that it would be funded through the American Rescue Plan Fund. I would like to make a motion to fund it through the Building Reserve Fund.
And this, we just need a motion, we don't need another. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Second, oh, sorry.
I was just going to say the reason being we actually have come up with, there are American Rescue Plan funds demands that we can use, and we have the building reserve, and this is a perfect use for it.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay. The flooring bid. This is to replace actually all the tile in the when you come into the building, the vestibule, and all the tile that it's at the end of the building by the courts. When we had work done on, when we were trying to clean them, well, that's when we discovered that there was rot underneath the tiles, and so we are going to replace the tiles. We sent out 3 RFPs, and one company decided not to submit. We had 2 other proposals, one from Bell's Ethan Allen and one from Foster's Flooring. I recommend that we actually, in this case, take the bid from Foster's Flooring because it's a firm price of $22,550, as opposed to the Bell's Ethan Allen, which was a lower price, but it was with contingencies. What's the right word, Jane?
It was qualified.
Qualified. So they couldn't guarantee that that would end up being the bid. So because of that, and there was no cap. So with that, I make a motion to accept the Foster's Flooring proposal for $22,550.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then, the next item, we're making a concerted effort to tighten up the energy use in this building. I don't know if any of you have spent either a winter or a summer in this building, but it's really problematic. And one of One great big energy draw, or actually there are two of them, are the front doors and the vestibule doors, which are like, I don't know, 2 inches above. It's just a wind tunnel, and all winter we were basically heating the outdoors, or all of our hot air was leaving the building, whatever. So we did, again, due diligence with 3 companies, one of which ended up, Williams did not give us a proposal. Harrington's gave us, and this is for the doors and the transoms, to be in keeping with the nature of this building. So the bid that, this is very unusual, that this is the second time I'm going to recommend that we take the higher bid. We got a bid from Harrington's that totaled $19,376.96, and a bid from Page Hardware that was $32,739, and we just couldn't figure out why there was such a disparity in the bids. So I went and showed the bids to Don Smith, and I'm really glad we did, because this is a municipal building, there's a lot of special requirements that have to do with hardware and safety, and so when he compared the 2 bids, the Page Hardware one was the one that had met all those requirements. And if we had just gone ahead and ordered the lower priced doors, we would have had a big problem getting a CO for our own building. So with that, I make a motion to accept the bid from Page Hardware.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I do have a letter from, a very short letter from Don Smith with his recommendation. Okay. As far as improvements happening at the rec, Lauren had requested that we replace the picnic tables that are ancient and weigh as much as a rhinoceros. And anytime we have to move them, like somebody from the highway department gets a hernia. Jim did try to rebuild one, and it just wasn't worth the man-hour and the materials. So Lauren went to 3 companies, and the lowest bid comes from Kirby Built.
Do we have a delivery date on that?
It came up in discussion the other day, but I don't recall, but it...
Did she think we would get them before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I knew it was that, at least.
Okay. And what we're getting are 13 8-foot tables and 2 tables that are wheelchair accessible. So I make a motion to accept the bid from Kirby Built.
Second.
They're also much lighter.
Yeah, they're much, yeah, there'll be no herniated highway members.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did you give the dollar amount?
$17,967.49.
That's great.
Okay. Item number 7, Resolution 4A, to transfer funds from the American Rescue Fund account, New York class, ending in 009, and move the funds to the general fund, ending in 0018. Whereas the town of Stanford contracted with Central Hudson to replace all existing non-LED streetlights with efficient LED fixtures. By the way, this was again part of our whole mission to become more energy efficient and ultimately save the town and the taxpayers money by reducing our electric costs. Whereas the New York class account ending in 0009, American Rescue Fund account, contains funds for this purpose, and whereas the town of Stanford will transfer funds from the New York class American Rescue Plan funds account to the Millbrook General Fund account ending in 0018. Now therefore be it resolved, the supervisor is authorized to complete the following budget modification and transfer the funds from the American Rescue Plan funds account to the general fund.
Second.
And that amount is $6,877.91. What they did was they prorated the use of the non-LED, the amount of life left in the non-LED lights, so that we weren't paying full bucket, we were paying for what was left. And then there were maybe 6 street lamps that already had LED lighting. Okay.
Wendy Burton?
Yes.
Ann Arend?
Yes.
Margaret Fallon?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Corey Flanagan?
Yes.
Okay, resolution 4B, which I don't know where my copy is. Here it is. To establish a New York class account for the Highway Vehicle Reserve Fund, ending in 002. Whereas interest rates are rising substantially and it is sound fiscal management to take advantage of these increases, and whereas the current Highway Vehicle Reserve Fund is held at the Bank of Millbrook, where the interest rate is only 0.2%, and whereas the current rate in the New York class accounts is 4.5%. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Stanford authorizes the Town Supervisor to establish a New York class account for the Highway Vehicle Reserve Fund. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Stanford authorizes the Town Supervisor to transfer $100,000 from the account, from basically the Millbrook Bank account, into the newly established New York class account. Be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Stanford further authorizes the Town Supervisor to move an additional $150,000 from the New York Class General Fund account into the newly established New York Class account in anticipation of additional vehicles that are being purchased for the Highway Department.
Second.
Any questions?
Wendy Burton?
Yes.
Ann Arend?
Yes.
Margaret Fallon?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Corey Flanagan?
Yes.
Rita, why don't you deal with number 9?
Okay. The Stanford Lions Club is asking the town board's permission to use the town hall hill, the lower part of the hill.
The foothills?
The foothills.
The foothill of the town.
For the Lions Annual Flea Market on June 10th. And because we're running out of manpower, we're going to have a food truck there.
Which we're allowed to do because we made it a
On
park.
town property.
Yeah.
Do you give permission for the Lions to do this?
Well, I make a motion to do what Rita asked.
Second.
I second the motion to do what Rita asks.
Oh,
No, I second. No, we all second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. And hopefully you'll have good weather too.
Rita, will you do number 10?
Okey-dokey. The Stanford Garden Club is requesting permission to use the lower town hall parking lot, not the foothills, the parking lot for their annual plant sale on Saturday, May 13th, the day before Mother's Day.
I make a motion to what Rita said.
I second it.
No, I got that.
All right, yeah, give it
Corey
Corey.
got that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you again.
I make a motion to appoint Corey Clanahan as the town board's planning board liaison.
I second.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
The highway department, in the person of Jim Myers, has made a request to purchase a 2024 Dodge Ram 550 dump truck and a 2023 Dodge Ram 2500 pickup truck. The highway department would like to propose purchasing 2 vehicles to better serve the town roads and residents. The dump truck will be replacing the T12 2006 Dodge 3500 dump truck that endured a truck fire on February 24th, 2021, and the town did receive an insurance reimbursement for that. And the 2023 Ram pickup, this pickup will be replacing the P1 2012 Dodge 2500 truck. The highway crew plan on rebuilding the motor of that truck so that it is usable when a vehicle is down due to repairs and therefore minimum time is lost. And the quotes are attached, and they come to, let's see, the dump truck costs $76,052.20, and the pickup truck costs $54,149.95. So I make a motion to approve the highway department's request.
Second.
I think I heard Nathan first. Is that okay?
Fine.
You can be next, Dan.
Don't talk.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that will come out of the Highway Vehicle Reserve Fund. Okay. Also in the improving the rec department, Lauren priced out proposals for 2 sheds. One to replace the ticket booth when you come into the parking lot, at the end of the parking lot where the kids sit and take money during the summer for using the rec park. And the other building is the shed at the baseball field, which apparently we were told is beyond repair, or not worth repairing. So the 2 bids, the 8 by 8, which is 8 by 8. Okay. The 8 by 8 shed is $3,550, and the 5 by 8 shed, which is a custom ticket booth, is $36.54. And these are coming from the barn raiser, and Lauren did get 3 sets of bids, and this is the lowest. Can I have a second?
I second that.
I was specifically told not to speak.
Oh, you mean by
Yes.
she who must be obeyed?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is American Rescue Plan money,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And for Margaret, you may be interested in this. These will be a little bit longer time.
Okay, that's what I.
This is
yeah.
this is about a 4 to 5 week
Okay,
period once
great,
the
thank you.
funds are procured and paid.
Okay, Nathan, are we there yet?
Don't forget
The
4C,
yeah.
resolution
4C.
4C.
Oh, that's right, I
Yeah.
made an addition. Item 14A.
No, you're not there yet. Oh, yes, you are. 4C,
Yeah.
payment for the sheds.
And
Excuse
then
me.
the lights, right? And then the lights?
4D is to accept the bid from Lane so we had a bid opening today to do the LED light replacement for all of the town's buildings, which is, again, was one of the recommendations that came out of the energy survey that we did. It feels like 15 years ago, but it was not. It was a year or 2 ago. To accept the bid from Lane Electric, Poughkeepsie, to replace interior lights with LEDs in Town Hall, the Highway Department, and the Rec. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Stanford made a commitment to save energy costs by converting all lighting to LED lighting, and whereas the bid proposal was advertised and 2 bids were submitted and opened, and whereas the lowest bid came from Lane Electric in Poughkeepsie for an estimated $77,403, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Stanford will accept the lower bid, and be it further resolved that the project will be paid for out of the American Rescue Plan Fund.
Second.
Wendy Burton,
Yes.
Ann Aaron,
Yes.
Margaret Fallon,
Yes.
Nathan LaVertue,
Yes.
Corey Flanagan.
Yes.
You did skip
4C.
Yeah, we skipped
4C.
4C.
the payment up for the sheds.
Yeah. We have to move the funds.
There's 4C. Okay, Resolution 4C. To transfer funds from the American Rescue Plan Funds account and move the funds to the general fund ending in 0018, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Sanford has approved the purchase of an 8 by 8 shed to replace the storage shed at the Rec Park baseball field, as well as a 5 by 8 custom ticket booth to replace the old one at the Rec parking lot. And whereas the New York Class account, American Rescue Fund account, contains funds for this purpose, and whereas the Town of Stanford will transfer funds from New York Class account, American Rescue Fund, to the Millbrook General Fund account, now therefore be it resolved, the supervisor is authorized to complete the following budget modification and transfer funds from the American Rescue funds account to the general fund. And the amount is $7,204.
Second.
Wendy Burton?
Yes.
Ann Aaron?
Yes.
Margaret Fallon?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Corey Conahan?
Yes.
Okay, now, Nathan?
Yeah, but before I make a motion, is it one resolution now?
No, I think you're going to make a motion
Yep.
for the proclamation.
Okay.
And then the resolution is, I don't know why.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So the first is that I would like to make a motion that how we did in 2022. In 2022, Stanford, the Stanford Town Board elected to proclaim that the month of June in Stanford is Pride Month. And so I would like to do the same proclamation again in this year.
Great.
That's a motion.
Yeah.
Second. That's a second. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Margaret.
Okay, thank you.
Well, she said great.
Yes, but that was
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'll do a resolution for you. So, great. So that's good. So following that, in the spirit of continuing that, I'd like to make a motion that...
No, you're making a resolution.
Sorry, I'm making a resolution that, 4E. So this is an effort to put the pride flag on town property. So I'll read the resolution. So, whereas the town of Stanford has recognized and proclaimed the month of June 2023 as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Pride Month throughout the town, and whereas the state of New York in 2022 elected to recognize local Pride Month celebrations by having the LGBTQ+ pride flag flown at the state capitol, plaza, and governor's mansion for the duration of the Capitol Pride weekend, and whereas the local Stanford Pride Committee is planning their celebration for Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, and whereas the Stanford, New York is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equality for LGBTQ people in our diverse community, and whereas celebrating Pride Month influences awareness and provides support and advocacy for Stanford, New York LGBT community, and is an opportunity to act and engage in dialogue to strengthen alliances, build acceptance, and advance equal rights. Now therefore it be resolved that the Stanford Town Board hereby approve to raise the LGBT flag at the base of Town Hall Memorial Park for a period of 2 days beginning Friday, June 2nd, 2023.
Second.
Wendy Burton?
Yes.
Ann Aaron?
Yes.
Margaret Fallon?
Yes.
Nathan Virtue?
Yes.
Corey Conahan?
Yes.
A few meetings ago, I think, Bob Butts brought to our attention some inconsistencies or just approvals that actually didn't meet requirements for Aerosmith's I want to say it called cohabitation, but it's co-location cell tower at the cell tower on Quarterhouse Way. So Bob has been working on a resolution, on resolving the issue, and do you want to give us a little report?
Yes, I will. I'm going to pass out a letter that we received dated April 12th from the applicant, Aerosmith. And just basically for a little background, this is a very minor application to co-locate an additional antenna, I gather, on the existing cell tower. Cell tower is not being enlarged in any regard. There are also some minor changes at the base of the tower where a generator and generator pad are being installed. The applicant submitted an application to the building inspector's office in August of last year, which actually should have been submitted to the town board, because the town has a separate code for article for telecommunications facilities. but it went to the building inspector's office. This application was apparently what's called an eligible facilities request, which under the federal telecommunications office is a particular type of application where there are no substantial changes to an existing facility. And under the federal laws, the town is actually only permitted to have a very limited review of this project. And the federal law allows only a very short time for the town to complete its review. So anyway, the application was not transferred to the town board, and after this short period, which I believe is 60 days, the FCC telecommunications law required that it stated that it is deemed approved. The town board, a few days before before the expiration of the code, issued a building permit on the application. So
wait, who did that? The planning board?
No, the building
Don,
department.
okay.
Yeah, Don's office.
Okay.
So we probably would not have any real objection to this change, but there we had a concern that that our code be observed, and that just for sake of future applications that we not set a bad precedent in terms of the procedures, which would include a public hearing and so on and so forth. And we figured that the applicant would also want to be in conformity with the law, so we approached the applicant and asked them to cooperate with us in that regard. So the applicant was willing to pay the balance of almost a $2,000 additional fee, which the town should have collected back then, which is a good result. But since under the Telecommunications Act, this application was sort of granted or deemed approved by default under the federal statutes, they are unwilling to come back before the board and review this very, very minor application. And for us to force them to do it, we would have to commence an action in federal court at great cost, and it's frankly not worth it. So I think this proposal is something that the board could certainly approve. It's a good result because they're paying our fee, and that the code provides them to pay, and it does not set a bad precedent because the approval was not improperly granted by the town, but instead it was the result of a default approval under the federal statute. So, and we can send a letter to the applicant and remind them that they have to observe the proper procedures in the future for future applications.
So do you need us to vote to basically accept that result?
I think that would be a good result, yes.
So just to be clear, they did have a public hearing with the planning board, but according to our town code, they should have had a public hearing in this room with us.
They should have, but bear in mind that under for this type of a minor application under the federal code, let me just read it. It says that the code says that for this type of an application, the state or local government may not deny and shall approve any eligible facilities.
Okay,
So-
that kind of puts it.
So really,
Wow.
our only review would be limited to determining, would be to confirm that it was this, that it falls within that particular type of application. So,
So I make a motion to accept the additional fee from Aerosmith and to not pursue any other legal actions.
I second that.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. But we should also make sure policies are clear so this doesn't happen again.
yes, we'll send a letter to this applicant, and I think, and we can also send a memo around to the town departments.
I think
too.
we should.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Since both the planning board and the,
Yep.
yeah, okay. Before we get to the approval of the minutes, I would like to inject my supervisor's, what is it, my supervisor's report and the financial forecast. Okay, you already know this. Central Hudson has completed the streetlight conversion. The cash audits of the town clerk and the court clerks have been conducted and all passed with flying colors. We will be contacting the engineering firm of GPI to review all of the different RFIs, which we were asked for information on how to best replace our HVAC, do the HVAC conversion here at Town Hall. This also will be paid for out of ARPA funds. But the engineering firm plus the conversion. This has been going on for a long time. We want to replace the oil furnace with probably propane. I don't quite understand the difference between propane and natural gas, I'll admit. But we also are going to, we just need to get this building to be efficient with air and with heat. So we're going forward with that. We reached the engineering firms and picked this one because it's something that they specialize in. And I already talked about that. So my first quarter financial forecast, at this time our revenues are on track. We received our last sales tax growth payment, and for the rest of the year we'll be receiving sales tax according to the new formula that was negotiated between County Executive Molinaro and the cities in Dutchess. Some counties do not share sales tax revenue at all, but Dutchess does. That's what town, yeah. The new formula takes 9% out of the taxes and splits that amount with towns according to population. So we need to keep having babies. And with the calculations that we were provided, we will not be losing sales tax dollars with this new formula. But they only negotiated with the cities because they're the ones that they're legally required to pay. So the towns the towns and villages were like, well, this is what you're getting pretty much. Disposal revenue, the dump is coming in well. We attribute this to the closing of the town of Clinton's transfer station. Of course, our haulage expenses have also gone up, but we budgeted for that. There's been a huge increase in interest earnings because we've moved funds to our New York class accounts where interest rates are 4.5% and rising. So we've already gotten $7,650. We're over projection for interest. It's going to be like a what do you call it? A windfall. Windfall, yeah, which is great. Building permits are also very strong. Court is a little bit behind, but when Judge Buchal takes office, hopefully at the end of this month, revenue should go up. Dennis has been carrying the whole burden.
Did he have the training yet?
He's having it this month.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he has to pass a test, and then he can come on board. And no line transfers at all need to be made at this time. Okay, number 17, approval of the minutes of February 9th. Now, who was here and who wasn't?
I was here in February. So
Right.
should we just vote on them separately?
Yeah, I think it should be,
Okay.
good.
we have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was here, and I approved them.
I was here and I approved them for February 9th.
You weren't here?
I was not.
I was here and I approved them.
And you
I
were
was
not.
not.
Okay, so you got your 3.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, March.
And then March 9th.
I was not here.
You were here?
I was not
She
here.
was
on
not.
March.
Oh, I was here, I approved them.
I was also here and approved them.
I was here and I approved them.
Everybody.
Yeah, well, except for
No,
Margaret.
I'm not.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Approval of the abstract number 3 for March. Now, hold on to your seats. The general fund spent $626,053.94, but that's because we act as a pass-through to the fire district and to the library. So we didn't, all we do is like the tax collector gives it to us and then we pass it along. So we didn't really spend $626,000. The highway fund was $52,839.36, and Bangor Lights was $1,006.58.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just processing the numbers.
626. Okay, then I will open up privilege of the floor for the second time. Yes, Jack.
Jack Evans, 2248 Bulls Head Road. I just want to bring up about the last meeting. There were several dangerous areas here that speeding has taken place. I think 3 people spoke about them here. Mrs. Zayer brought up a very important issue to me, and that's signs do absolutely nothing. We can throw signs everywhere, even the electronic speeding signs that tells you how fast you're going. They're not really going to do anything if there's no police force or nobody overlooking it. Now, I'm on the 3rd driveway down Bull's Head Road, right off of 82. Now, I put my granddaughter, who's 6, on that bus every morning. Now, that's a blind curve, and nobody slows down for it. So there's already been several issues where a car comes around, stops bus, slam on the brakes, sliding down the road. So that's not good. Somebody's going to get hurt there. The other thing is, and if anybody don't know about it, about 2 weeks ago there was a fender bender with a bus on that corner.
Yeah.
So we got an issue here in town. Somebody's got to do something about it. Now, you can tell the individual people to make phone calls all they want to. That ain't going to do it. You people carry clout for the town. So I'm recommending that the town board here pinpoints those issues and politely talks to the sheriffs or the state police and have them look these areas over and stand by them and try to make a presence. We have no police presence here.
Well, that's...
Every now and then a state trooper will pull in and stop by, but it's just not enough. So this is, to me, the same issue as a dismemberment in the park. We're going to have people hurt, and we need to do something about it. So I recommend that somebody here on the board, whoever's the proper person, to make some phone calls and try to cut this down a little bit. Thank you.
Jack, I can respond if you'd like.
Please.
So I may not be the person, but I was the person that has done some in this. I actually, last year, I did an aerial plan for that specific intersection, actually.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, so I submitted that from the email of the town board, not as an individual, to try and carry that clout through. And it was, the purpose was to basically say, hey, I have a degree in architecture and building science, but I was like, I still am not necessarily an expert in traffic flow. So I was seeking the DOT's advice on this. And so they responded in kind and basically said, like, yeah, there's a lot of different solutions that you could propose in this intersection, but what you propose is actually really smart. So what we had done is that we kind of sat on it, and because it is an intersection of county roads and town roads, it gets complicated in terms of who's involved. But there was an opportunity to try and get funds through Patrick Ryan's office earlier this year, which we attempted to do, but there is additional work that we didn't know that we needed to do. And in advance of that.
Yeah.
And so the hope is that we can now start to do that work.
Yeah.
So that when we get to this point again in the future, we'll have that material and we'll be able to go and seek the money to actually get this together. So
that's all appreciated. But at this point right now, what are we doing?
Yeah.
How am I stopping that car that comes around that corner and tries to run my granddaughter
As an
over?
individual, I can tell you what I've been doing, which is I've been documenting it.
I don't like that thought.
No, I know.
You can document it all you want, but I believe that phone calls should be made to the state police from the town board, who carries more clout than an individual homeowner. Please check this area out once a week, and the other areas that we talked about at the last meeting.
Right.
I mean, that's something that we can do now before your idea, which is wonderful.
Yeah, we won't be able to apply for that grant till next year.
What do we do now? That's the question.
No, I understand, and I'm happy to call both the sheriff and the state troopers. I guess my frustration is, because we don't have a police force, that we will probably get them to come, and it's going to be limited. They'll come by maybe 2 days in a row. They'll sit so people go, oh, the troopers are here. And I'm totally happy to get them here. But how do we actually solve this in the long term?
Well, I don't know.
No, I'm sorry.
Anything is better than nothing right now. So
I'm happy to make the phone call, Jack.
Well, and what will also help too is that, we could discuss the merits of those speeding signs or not, but the good thing is that there also are data collection. So we can use that as a data collection source to bring both to the state police.
Electronics.
So they capture that data, so we'll be able to have hey, look, 50% of the people here are going 20% over the speed limit. So we'll have a lot more data to go to them, which would be helpful.
And that turn is just bad because people come down here. First of all, nobody's doing 45. They're doing 55 or 50.
I'm doing 35.
And they make that turn without slowing down, and it's 35 around that turn.
Yeah.
There's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 driveways.
Yeah.
So if any one of those people are coming out of that driveway, it's a likely accident.
That's a county.
Thank you.
That's a county road.
82?
Yeah. No, it's not 82. It's Bull's Head.
Bull's Head is County Road, 82, and then the town road is Church Street.
We got town, county.
But nobody's speeding on town road though.
They're speeding on every. They're speeding on every road.
On the county road, Bull's Head Road, right?
Well,
or is it on Church Street?
The whole issue is wide open.
It's all of it.
People speed everywhere, but that particular spot is a blind turn where nobody, for some reason, people feel that they don't have to slow down as they make that turn. Don't ask me why. It's a blind turn.
You have to stand up and say your name and your address.
My name is Gianna Roble. I live.
Could you say that again, please?
Gianna Roble.
Can you spell it?
Gionna.
Yeah.
Wrobel.
Thank you.
I
What
live
road?
7 Ridge Road, right off of Bull's Head. I have a few suggestions about a few things. So for the park, instead of, has anyone reached out to Habitat for Humanity by any chance?
For?
With the sheds and possible, I mean, I know that they build houses and stuff. I personally worked on a project with them through BOCES, making plant boxes and whatnot for donations and stuff. But has there been any effort made to possibly contact them and talk about...
Can you speak into the microphone, please?
Has there been any effort made to possibly talk with them about a possible side projects in making the sheds instead of having to spend so much money, saying that they're specialized, the ticket booth is specialized and whatnot?
Well, the answer is no. I mean, no effort was made. I have to say, I don't think it dawned on anybody that, I mean, I know Habitat for Humanity, but I don't think, I always have thought they built buildings for people to live in, not that they would build a storage shed for the playground, I mean, for the baseball field, but.
Absolutely.
Great.
I mean, there is always hope. It's always an option to reach out.
Yep.
And whatnot. Also on top of that, back with the road, I know this would be kind of absurd, but possible speed bumps. That would be a little tough and tricky, but to get that regulated and everything, but I mean, it'd be a brutal wake-up call.
It sure would. I actually think speed bumps
For the kids on the bus, too, when they went over the...
Kids on the bus, there'd be definitely a few calls to a few shops around here, all the repair shops. Not necessarily at the bend itself, but maybe a little bit before or a little bit after, anywhere that's not blocking the school buses from picking up the children.
That would be a county decision, right?
I voted on
Yeah.
the speed bump.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
What did you say, Jack?
Pure
He likes- he
entertainment.
likes the speed bump.
Pure for the entertainment
You
value.
set up a chair.
I feel like you'd be out there watching.
You know, it's definitely worth a try. We have had such little success with the DOT for both the state, for 82, for people speeding, and for the county. I mean, it's like trying to talk to Mars. Truly, and this has been generational for administrations. You know, I've heard the same. It's been going on forever since I moved here, and I'm sure before that. But it's certainly worth an effort. I mean, I know that there's complaints from plow trucks about speed bumps when they're plowing the road for snow and they don't know it's there, and then the plow hits a speed bump. I know that's an issue, but I still think it would be worth trying to have a conversation.
But there could also be warning signs right before to like.
Oh, before the bump.
Yeah, there could be signs.
I don't think you can legally put speed bumps on a.
Let us stream. Let us stream.
Let us.
You can put. I don't know if you've ever been on a highway. They have it in Pennsylvania. That,
Can she just finish her privilege on the floor?
yeah. Sorry.
One other thing, going back to the sheds, future reference for any other possible structures that need to be made or repaired is to possibly contact Duchess Bosse's construction. I'm in that class. That's how I worked with Habitat for Humanity. I've done a whole bunch of projects, stuff that goes out to government officials, stuff within the school, community stuff, whatever.
That's a great idea.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about switching the shed idea to Bosse's now. I mean, it would
But
take
for
time
the
to get.
future.
But moving forward, it's a
Sure.
resource we hadn't even thought about.
I just want to add to that if I can. I went to BOCES in 71 or 72, and we worked on, we built a firehouse on Route 9, Hillsdale Firehouse. So
Wow.
the whole school pitched in, we worked on it for a year, and it was done specifically by the students.
Well, it sounds like we should get BOCES involved in building Spark Park when it's time to put up the new Spark Park. Yeah?
That's great.
I think that would be a really good idea, saying that there wouldn't necessarily need to be any money put towards it.
Right.
And the students can get all of their work-based learning hours in.
Yeah.
You need, for the construction class, it's 54 hours. I was able to get 84 plus within my first year. But it would be a good work experience for them, good education requirements for them, work-based learning hours, all of that.
Fantastic. That's great.
It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we know how to find you, like contact you?
I could stay after.
And you just give me your, yeah, that'd be great. Ben, did you want to say something?
No, I was just gonna mention the idea of I don't know if I've seen it in New York, but in Pennsylvania, there's one particular route that I've driven on multiple times, that when the freeway ends, they have rumble strips. They're not like the ones that are in the line,
Yeah.
but it sort of like indicates that there's a change. I mean, it's not, the thing is somebody's gonna go over it once and then decide that, you know, it's not really gonna change the way they drive. You know, ultimately, it's about people personally deciding that, oh, there's people out by the road here, maybe I should slow down.
Yeah.
I mean, when anybody's walking in the street, I always like slow down. I mean, most people I know slow down to the point that you probably could grab the person and throw in their car with you. But
Yes,
Well,
I've done that.
There's other people that go by, people walking a dog or women with a stroller, and they go 60 miles an hour while on a 30-mile-an-hour road. So I think ultimately it's about people's personal responsibility to do what's right, which
It's really hard to legislate that, you know?
Yeah, you can't legislate that.
You know, Wendy, I don't know if it's possible on a county road, but there are seasonal speed bumps. I mean, the kind that they literally put in.
Oh, yeah.
And then they take them out in the winter because, you know, and they're the not very nice ones.
The nasty ones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know if a county, you know.
If the speed limit's 45 though, you can't expect somebody to be able to drive the speed limit and go over a speed bump.
Yeah, but where he's talking about is so close to the end of the road.
If you were to, you know where Elvin's used to be?
Yeah.
Well, they're coming up this way here, and they're making that right-hand turn at top speed.
Yeah.
There's a driveway right on the right and 3 on the left.
And they're cutting
not
through.
doing 45, which is a speed limit, or 40. They're doing 50. And as soon as you make that turn, the speed limit's 35. So nobody slows down. If anything, they speed up now because they've got that nice sweeping roadway to ride.
It doesn't turn.
Yeah.
I have a question for the town board. Right now, the state government is reviewing their budget, and I know it's been held up for the discussion on the housing mandate, and I am very concerned about that. If it goes through as written, the town could be mandated to increase our housing capacity between 1% and 3% a year.
It's not a year, it's until, there's a threshold you would have to.
Right. It's a complicated procedure, but the alarming fact is that there is allowances in this mandate to bypass zoning.
Yes.
That developers can go directly to the state for approval. And I just wonder how much work the town board has done in communicating to the state, communicating to the county. This could be disastrous for us.
I've been on multiple Zoom calls. I've been working with the Association of Towns. I've been working with the Dutchess County Supervisors and Mayors Association. We've sent letters.
Every supervisor, right? Sends a
Every
letter in Dutchess
supervisor.
County.
We're very aware of how bad this is. It goes against home. And so we've been lobbying, I've been the voice, and I've been lobbying hard against it. And it's she had it on the budget last year and it fell off. The lobbyists that I have spoken to believe there's a good chance it will come off again, and all we can do is keep protesting, which we're trying to be as vocal as we know how.
Right, and this goes into our public hearing coming in the future with the master plan, if this mandate goes through, how it's going to be addressed. Because the guidelines for it are to increase housing, affordable housing, et cetera. So it's a very disturbing process that a developer could go directly to the state for authorization.
I think, Kathy, in a way, we're in a better position than many other municipalities because of the number. I don't have it memorized, but it was something like over the course of a bunch of years, Stanford had to add between 3 and 10 houses or something. So it wasn't like if you're in Westchester, it's a disaster. I'm not saying I want this to happen at all,
right.
but when I dug into the details, as policy, it stinks, and it should never happen.
Right.
And there are ways we can get to safe harbor before they could even get into our weeds.
Right.
That being said, I utterly agree with you.
Right.
And
Because the goal for this, the intent is to create like multi-unit housing.
Well, they don't specify what kind of housing. It's just literally the number of houses.
Right. But you could have a developer coming in presenting a 10-unit building, going directly to the state. So it does impact everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I have a good feeling. That doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I do think that they're getting so lobbied. Nobody wants to give up home rule on their own zoning, but we'll see. Thank you. Anybody else?
Just a curious question. If you are overruled in that kind of a situation, we just roll over and go with it.
We have to follow state law.
So my question is, do we have the option of a lawyer to stand up against the state?
We have,
So, I mean,
Jack, we have, like, through the Association of Towns, we have 4 lawyers. They represent all the towns in New York.
Yep.
And they have lobbyists that are, like, in Albany pounding the floors every day. I mean, just as a municipality, could we hire an attorney to?
Well, I'm just asking, if they strong arm you, you roll over. Do we have an option?
I think there will be like a class action lawsuit with the towns versus the state if that actually happens. Because I don't think anybody wants that.
I don't think anybody wants it either.
I think we'd be better off joining forces than going as an individual town, like going through the Association of Towns, because, strength in numbers.
Well, I just hate to see a rollover.
And
Really maybe do something a little more.
The other thing that's odd about the way the whole thing is structured is, again, there's a certain amount of time that you have to get to safe harbor, which means, we're still approving building permits here. Like, all we would need to do literally is, and again, I'm sorry, I don't have the number memorized, but it was a small number of houses that we would have to reach here in Stanford to be in safe harbor, and they couldn't get at us. So it's not quite as, it sounds totally Orwellian, but I really think this town is going to be okay. That doesn't mean we're going to not fight.
Well, that would be great. I talked to somebody that's in the know on these figures, and it wasn't 3 to 10, it was more like 55 or 60 houses.
Not for Stanford.
No, I'm just going by.
I believe it's either 1 or 3% based on the households in the community, and we have 1,800 households.
I think it was based on the census.
Well, this is what it was. This is the census information. I took it off. It was 1,800 households, so 1% would be 18 homes. 3%, and I'm not even sure which percent we're in Dutchess County.
I can clarify that.
She said downstate is 3%.
Right.
Upstate is 1%.
Right, and downstate means it's a certain distance from New York City.
Right, which I couldn't find.
And we're not in that distance, so we're considered upstate.
But it could be 1% could be an 18 additional homes with no zoning.
Kathy, I'll clarify it. I'll get a real number.
Right.
Okay.
I could add something too. There may be other types of housing that would satisfy the requirements, like accessory apartments and things like that, which might be helpful to elderly people who want to get a little income to cover their taxes and things like that, and be able to stay in the community. So,
And I think that ADUs are considered housing.
yes.
So
What would you say?
ADUs will be, yes.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get a number, and we'll keep fighting. Anybody else? Okay then, well, thank you all for sitting here in this sticky room for so long. I hope it was a good meeting for you.
Thank you.
And, wait, Margaret.
Oh, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second. John, did you